Hi, my name is Tom Mullen, and I'll be talking to you about business today, specifically family business, and within that subsystem, interfamily succession. So there's a big problem in family businesses, um, especially small family businesses, where they don't have plans for another generation taking over the business or things of that nature. And I wanted to kind of look at that and research it because it's something that's very near to me because I'll be taking over a family business in the next few years, and there's kind of been pushback and, you know, just a general rejection of solutions or ideas that push us towards family succession. And I thought researching it would be a good way to do it, and especially in an interdisciplinary way, because it's something that has many facets that are disciplinary. It has, family system disciplines, economic disciplines, business management. I focused on kind of two sets of disciplines. One was from an economic and financial discipline perspective, and the other one was from organizational leadership and management. So I kind of wanted to look at how these two systems interacted in family businesses and read a bunch of research. And what I found was, a lot of people researched this from, they classified what type of family businesses they were, whether if they were, brothers and sisters, brothers, cousins, sisters, if what generation was the investor, what generations were the workers, and it kind of broke things down in that angle, as well as looking at it from the financial aspect. They didn't really look at that. They looked at just family businesses and, the finance systems around them that help them succeed or put them at a disadvantage. So one of the big things to me is throughout this research, there was never kind of anything that got close to combining the management with the finances in a research setting. It was either purely management research or purely financial research. So I think in the future, a melding of those two disciplines to look at this problem would be very beneficial, as well as, approaching the family system independently to see if there's any family problems before looking into business problems. So there was a bunch of interesting findings. It was very beneficial to me personally to see what a lot of these people wrote, how they decided to study these things. And it really gave me a lot of good ideas for the future, but also kind of where there were gaps. Some people focused too much of their research on what type of family business it was, and others focused too much on whether it was a family business or not, in comparing it to other benchmarks for how businesses are managed. So basically, one of the big solutions that was talked about in the research was getting outside agents, whether they're brought in as consultants or full-time managers, to help ease these transitions or consult on them and see which ways forward for the family business. But, it was more of a discussion on the fact that that was the solution and not solutions after that first step. Not anything was mentioned in the research about buy-sell agreements with family members as partners, or cross-purchase agreements, which are life insurance products that help ease the transition intergenerationally of family businesses, and even non-family partnerships. They're used a ton, and I feel like, in my experience, and I bet in a lot of other family business experiences, the family business operates informally and in a way that one researcher called a survival method, where the family works in the business and it's a survival thing where they're never really looking to change the business or build it, and they compare those to what they call high achievement systems, with systems where they're not necessarily working specifically for survival of the family system. And so I think it provides the ability and the safety net for those businesses to expand, whereas other small family businesses continue to operate at status quo, because changing that could impact the survival of the business. And I think that's one of the main things I'm dealing with in my personal life. My dad worries about that survival factor because it's always worked the way he's operated, so he wants to keep operating that way. So basically, from all of this, I think that the conclusion I came to is, one of the things they talk about with small businesses is when they get financing, they have a lot of relational lending and soft data, which is basically the relationship of a small bank manager with, a small business owner. It's a tighter relationship than larger businesses have with larger banks. So I think one of the things that family businesses can do is transition into operating more clearly, have more of a division of labor and more of a plan for the future that regular businesses have to operate with, because they have to assume that they're going to be in business for forever. So the family system should do the same as a survival mechanism, because that transition just doesn't happen smoothly right when it needs to, because a lot of the situations are emergent, or other problems arise out of the succession, because there's not a clear plan in place of which family member it goes to and how it is all broken up. So I think operating more clearly and having a clearly defined plan is kind of the solution that needs to happen, and it needs to happen in a framework that treats what one of the researchers called it treats the system of the business the same as the system of a family, with all the moving parts. So it's a solution that has to take into account everything. It's very complex when you meld two systems of that magnitude together, the family and business. So that's kind of really what I came to see from everything. And, just whether somebody within the business operates as an agent of change or hires an outside actor to come in as a consultant or manager to help ease the transition or start the transition or the transition planning, just so these businesses can quit operating opaquely and cement their standing as more than survival, and they can thrive. So that's kind of everything that I plan to do with my life, is try to implement all this integrative learning into action immediately, and kind of shift from more of a survival mode to a thriving and achieving. Thank you for watching this, and let me know in the discussion board if you have any questions. Thanks.